Hey guys, it is I, Kuroninja, and in this episode I'm going to talk about the Shadow Arc of Kuroninja Gold. This arc takes place during episodes 9 to 12, and it focuses on the Shadow Dimension. However, before we talk about that, I have to reintroduce some of the characters, because it's been a long time since my last video on Kuroninja Gold. Okay, now that the reintroduction is out of the way, let's begin. So this arc starts in the Shadow Dimension, where Lord Nemesis decides to form an alliance with the Dark Domain Council, or DDC, which is led by Necromega. Now Lord Nemesis wanted some Shadow Cores, but Necromega claims that the DDC doesn't take any else, so the Nemesis clan had to prove itself. Now before we continue, there's a very important character in this story arc, and she is Iroyas, the Ice Ninja of Despair. She is the right hand of Necromega. Anyway, as this was going on, I was training my students, and basically I told them to find a partner for sparring, as I wanted to see the different ninja techniques that my students knew. Now, there are only two pairs that you need to remember. Haruna Nakamura decided to partner with Kai Hirose, and Antonio Vega had no choice but to partner with Sayori, since they were the last two to not have a partner. Anyway, one thing you should know is that Antonio Vega received very strict training as a professional wrestler, so he's always trying to act like a tough guy. However, Shinosuke Nakamura and a few others know that Antonio Vega has hidden feelings for Sayori, but he always denied this. And this is also the reason why Natsuki became Void Ninja. It's because she and Antonio Vega have very similar personalities. Anyway, Antonio Vega and Sayori had a friendly duel, pushing each other to the limit, and it turns out that they have really great chemistry with each other. And at the same time, Kai Hirose lost his trident, which has the power to control water. And then suddenly, a water elemental materialized in one of the toilets, so I had to stop it before it damaged anything. Now, water elementals are neutral, but then Iroyas used her ice ninja skills to control the water elemental. Luckily, I put a stop to it, and at the same time, Sayori ended up fighting Iroyas. Iroyas then started to take an interest in Sayori, and later she kidnapped her and took her to the Shadow Dimension at the Shadokyo Spire, the headquarters of the DDC. Now that's not the only thing that happened. At the same time, some zombies began attacking the city, and they were coming from a hole in the fabric of space-time, which connected the Shadow Dimension to the normal dimension. And I went with Kuroninja Gold to the Shadow Dimension with the help of Lupin X to stop the undead from attacking Earth 1. At the same time, Antonio Vega went with Shinosuke Nakamura and Anti-Kuro Ninja, yes, Anti-Kuro Ninja, to rescue Sayori. And Sayori was being held captive by Iroyas, who is trying to force Sayori to fall into despair. But everything Iroyas did wasn't working, because although the Shadow Dimension gives off this effect of sorrow and misery, that's how Sayori normally feels every day. Anyway, me and Kuroninja Gold found the generator connecting the Shadow Dimension to Earth 1, and we destroyed it, so that Necromega couldn't spread his undeads to Earth 1 any further, and Antonio Vega rescued Sayori, but the arc isn't over yet. You see, in the last arc, there were these two villains, Yajin Niroku, the Kuroninja of the Shadow Dimension, and Ikustan, the shadow counterpart of Natsuki. Ikustan saw Iroyas when Antonio Vega was rescuing Sayori, and that surprised her, because Ikustan saw Iroyas die in front of her. She also knows who killed Iroyas. And that's who Ikustan ran into next. Ikustan then ended up running into Ryu, the shadow counterpart of someone who doesn't appear yet, but you will see her much later in the story. Anyway, all you need to know about Ryu is that she has almost the same personality as Kamen Rider Oja from Kamen Rider Ryuki, and that she has a switchblade with a red gemstone at the bottom of the handle. And Ryu decided to spare Ikustan because she wants to fight a stronger opponent, known only as the Dark Prism Assassin. Ikustan then ran into another person, but she never gets revealed yet, so we'll call this person the Red-Eyed Sorcerer. The Red-Eyed Sorcerer is the founder and original leader of the DDC. Anyway, Antonio Vega was a little embarrassed after rescuing Sayori, so he became more aggressive during his fights. And then he decided to take a walk, but then he got ambushed, and then he was shot by a pink arrow. Haruna Nakamura then appeared, and she invited Antonio Vega to have dinner with her. Now, one thing you should know about Antonio Vega is that he's a fighter, not a lover. However, somehow, Haruna was able to convince him to go on a date with her. Meanwhile, Yajiroku was searching for Ikustan, but he ran into Iroyas and Necromega instead. Necromega then sent Yajiroku over to Earth 1, promising him that he could get the Sword of Absolute Power. However, Yajiroku had no idea that Necromega was working with Lord Nemesis. Anyway, I defeated Yajiroku this time, and then after that, Necromega betrayed him to Lord Nemesis. And while this was happening, Kuroninja Gold found out that there was a spy in the dojo working for the Nemesis clan. When everyone found out about the spy, Shinosuke Nakamura and Sayori automatically suspected Kai Hirose because 1. He doesn't talk to anyone, and 2. He has a trident that can control water. And at the same time, Iroyas went to Earth 1 to place it into a deep freeze, and I ended up fighting against Bronzar and Yajiroku, who is now forced to obey Bronzar. Anyway, Shinosuke found out that Hirose wasn't the spy, and this is the very first time that Kai Hirose talks in this season. Anyway, Shinosuke then realized who the spy was. Shinosuke, Sayori, and Hirose went to find Haruna Nakamura, who was on a date with Antonio Vega. And at first, Haruna denied being the spy, but then Iroyas showed up to defeat Sayori. Sayori then dodged the icicles fired by Iroyas, which meant that they were going to hit Vega instead. Suddenly, Haruna fired an arrow that moved forward, intercepting all the icicles. This move was a technique that the Nemesis clan spy used. Haruna then revealed that she was the spy and that she was given orders to eliminate all of Kuroninja's students, but then she stopped after falling in love with Antonio Vega. But that's not all. Antonio Vega was also brainwashed by Haruna. Anyway, while Sayori was fighting Iroyas, Shinosuke was fighting his best friend who had been brainwashed. The brainwashed Antonio Vega had the upper hand, and he was about to finish Shinosuke off. But then he saw Iroyas about to kill Sayori. Antonio Vega then broke free from his brainwashing and saved Sayori from getting hurt. After Antonio Vega saved Sayori, he confessed his love to Sayori. However, Haruna Nakamura swore to return and take down Sayori so she could have Antonio Vega all to herself. And then Lord Nemesis gave Haruna Nakamura a Shadow Core, which allowed her to use her new armor, and Iroyas ended up running into Ryu, who wanted to fight someone known as the Dark Prism Assassin. However, the Dark Prism Assassin won't appear until the next arc, which isn't really an arc because it took place during Christmas and it only covers 3 episodes. But for now, that is all. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, Ore to Shinken Yellow wa 2018 nen irai isho ni, and I have nothing to do with Kuroninja.